Our second look back at faith this year focuses on a group of men who believe that it's time for a more muscular Christianity. Their point, on an average Sunday, 60% of the adults at a worship service are women, and they say that's in part because Christianity is too soft. Will a more traditionally masculine Messiah pack men in the pews? Well, Nightline's John Donovan traveled to Franklin, Tennessee for the answer.
At a Tennessee shopping mall the other day, across from the dress shop, just past the ice cream counter, and down this corridor behind the black doors, nearly 300 Christian men, and only men, paid $68 each in order to be GodMen, or as one guy there put it, to cowboy up as followers of Jesus. Mostly they were there to acknowledge that there are manlier ways to be Christian than the ways they learned growing up.
A meek and mild Jesus eventually is a bore.
And that there are some things you will never hear said in church,
because who doesn't want to look at a naked lady?
Or with kids or women present, like what happens when a Christian man is hooked on pornography.
Because some of you are addicted. Some of you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. So let's talk about it.
And that's what these Christian men did, although we cannot show you all of it.
They've just finished a part of the session for which we were asked to take the cameras out, but I was allowed to stay in. They wanted cameras out because they wanted the men to feel that they could have a frank and open discussion, and that's exactly what happened. A kind of conversation you would probably never see in a church or with women present. The men were talking very frankly about desiring women who are not their wives, talking about internet pornography, asking questions about homosexuality. A lot of it with male joking and joshing, but it helped the conversation move along. It is exactly what the founders had in mind when they set this thing up.
And one of those founders is Brad Stein, a stand-up comic.
People are actually going to tell me you shouldn't say Merry Christmas at Christmas time.
Known as a Christian conservative comedian who generally plays to a lot of church groups. But now, as we discussed in a restaurant at the mall where the GodMen were assembled, he's trying to take it past entertainment.
So you're still figuring it out?
We're still figuring it out. Something new is happening, and we feel like maybe it's the next page. In men connecting to God in a way that is been lost.
Lost, he says, because Sunday church is too straight-laced, boring, and disconnected from what really makes a man tick.
We felt like maybe if laymen run this, we have nothing to lose.
Right.
We don't have any church to lose. We don't have any congregation we have to answer to. We're just guys trying to be straight and being real.
If Jesus were to appear today...
One of the day's first speakers is Paul Coughlin, author of a book called No More Christian Nice Guy. He argues that the image of Jesus most Americans grow up with is too passive. He calls him a bearded lady.
We just, unfortunately, within the church, in many cases, many times, we only emphasize the tender stuff. We cut out the tough stuff about Jesus, and that's awfully unfortunate because the tender stuff doesn't work without the tough stuff. You cannot love without courage.
And what Jesus, then, are the GodMen talking about? Well, most often they point to the Jesus who whipped the money changers at the temple in Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth. That's the kind of Christ, robust and strong, the GodMen say has been downplayed far too often.
But what about turn the other cheek, central message?
Absolutely.
What about blessed are the meek?
Yeah.
So what do you do with that part of the lesson?
Well, meekness is important as well. Meekness is a virtue, and meekness can be a vice depending on the situation.
So I want to encourage you to be good instead of nice, but know that you're going to make enemies in the process. But the good thing is, Jesus never said we couldn't have any enemies. He just said to pray for them.
It's a distinctly different message from the standard one, and during the lunch break, I talked with some of the attendees about why they were attracted to this.
And I was taught, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek. I ran out of cheeks, and I still had to keep turning. And so it.
And now you would do what?
And now I stand up more for what I believe in. I'm not turning the other cheek. I upset somebody about it, I'm standing firm to it.
Despite some complaints voiced here that feminism has gone too far, making society suspicious of male strength, even contemptuous of it, Stein was at pains to say over and over again that GodMen is not against women.
We believe that women are equal partners in our marriages, that they have equal control, that they need to help us with our families and give us wisdom that they have, but we believe that not at the sake of men finding out that sometimes we're more aggressive, that sometimes we have a sense of competition, of taking the bull by the horns, that we do grow up liking to blow stuff up.
And so it went. 6 hours of guy talk and God talk, and then, near the end, Brad Stein threw a curveball to this mostly conservative crowd when he introduced a man named Michael Brewer, who told this story.
At the age of 13, I realized I was gay, as I had sexual relations with other boys my age.
Gay, Brewer said, but also a Christian who considers gay sex wrong and is tormented by that fissure in himself. His story of shame, his story of being beaten and attacked, perhaps by men like those sitting right in front of him. It took so much courage that the crowd got the point after a day of talking about courage, and when Brewer finished, they stood up for him. And that was GodMen, a Christian work in progress, definitely not church.
God bless you, brother.
I'm John Donvan for Nightline in Franklin, Tennessee.
Interesting how the more muscular approach seems to have led to a kinder acceptance. When we come back,